The subject we have for today is English language. As we all know, English language as a subject has many firms and departments. Because of the volume of the subject, we are going to take it in compartments. And mind you, what we are here for and the purpose for this teaching is actually WAEC-based questions, WAEC-based tasks that students across West Africa and the world over always find difficult to do or write in their WAEC examinations. Not only WAEC halls or examinations, but also the NECO examinations, the JAMB, etc. Based on that, as a teacher, I have decided to give us a lowdown based on how WAEC usually sectionalizes their questions. I start by telling us, or writing on the board, the area of essay. We have essay. We have letter writing. The next thing we usually have in our past questions or WAEC questions or any other is comprehension. From our comprehension sections, we move on to our summary. Our summary sessions, followed by our objectives, tests of objectives, or the one we usually call lexis and structures. Lexis and structures are usually known as our objective part. Now, the last but not the least, without omission, is the one we call test of orals. All right. For us to move on and have the best of what we're here to do today, we are going to take these topics or subtopics under the English subject from the beginning. The first on our list today is ASA Writing. Naturally, over the years, over time, students are always fidgety and troubled about the aspect of essay. From my own point of view, I usually tell my students in a primary way or elementary way, the broken down form of essay writing. I do essay in a mostly practical form and angle. When you understand what an essay is, then you should be able to tackle whatever question that comes your way in your examination or during your English language examination. Essay, simply put, is to write, to compose, to be able to put words together, to be able to put points together, to be able to put ideas which is in you together as a student, as a pupil, across to people to be able to read. Essay could be born out of your experience, it could be born out of facts, it could be born out of history, it could be born out of hearsay. You could hear a story from all other medium and decide to reenact the story to an audience, to someone, to people. The whole essence of writing an essay is for you to be able to communicate your point across and tell a reader, tell a listener that this is what started, this is what happened, and this is how it came to an end. That is how normally I start from the elementary form to teach the younger ones what essay is all about. For me, an essay is simply composition. From our elementary days, which we call primary level this time around, we started with what is called composition. Write a composition about yourself. From our elementary and primary days, we were taught how to write composition. We were usually given little or primary topics that deals with ourselves, our friends, our classrooms, our environment as a whole. Now, when we get to junior secondary school, senior secondary school, it is actually moved from composition to essay writing. But I tell you, the fear of moving from composition to essay is usually what students of secondary schools are always what engulfed with. But today, I want to simply put it across to you that composition that we were used to in primary level is actually the same thing as essay writing. But why composition is in a primary form and in a shorter form, because it's usually less complicated topics, essay is more voluminous, more conclusive, more explanatory. Now, as I have settled the fact that essay is the same thing as composition, let us go straight into the types of essay writing. I put it this way. The first we would have on our list is what is called narrative essay. The next one is argumentative essay. The third one is expository essay. The last but not the least is the one we know as descriptive. Okay, for this descriptive essay. Now, having listed the types of essay, having established that a composition is the same thing as an essay, and having gotten branches of an essay, I need us to go straight into these types of essay and what they are all about. They are divided into four, and they have four divided meanings. The first I have here today, which we're really going to deal with properly, is narrative essay. I always smile each time I have this type of essay to deal with, because for me, it is the simplest, it is the most direct, and it is what we always do on a daily basis or we come across. To narrate means to tell. Why did I say that to narrate means to tell? I started from this point because I tell my students and even everyone I come across that in as much as English language is supposedly or seen as a difficult subject, I usually tell my students to start answering any English question from the dictionary point of view. When you know your words and their meanings, you should be able to apply the meaning of words to whatever topic, whatever word, whatever question that you come across. Naturally, and from the dictionary point of view, to a narrative or narrating is an act of telling. It is based on this that I tell us today that narrative essay means a composition where you are able to tell someone, to tell about something, to tell people about a particular thing, about an experience, about something that is a fact, about something you discovered, and you want someone to know about it. The form of narrative essay is just passing your point across, telling them about something that happened somewhere, that is happening somewhere, that is likely to happen somewhere. So, simply put, narrative essay is defined as a process of telling a story. The story can be facts, the story could be from experience, the story can be seen, witnessed, the story can be from history, and the story can be to entertain. Now, when narrative essay is an act of telling a story, how should it be told? When you're about to tell someone a story about what happened yesterday, probably on your way from school, on your way to church, how are you supposed to tell that? You are supposed to tell the story based on the fact that the incident you are narrating is already in the past. In that case, you're going to narrate the story from what? The past perspective. That is when you talk about past tenses. Your past tenses. Narrative essays, usually, based on its past tenses or usages, or past tenses that are usually used for that, narrative essays are always something that had happened in the past, something that we had experienced, and we want someone else to know about it. Remember that when you're writing an essay of any kind, particularly narrative essay, you are trying to tell your reader, you're trying to tell your examiner, you're trying to tell your marker that this is what happened. And you must be able to do it in a convincing form. If I say, I went to the beach, for instance, for my Easter holidays, what and what did I experience there? What and what happened at that particular place? What and what am I supposed to tell someone that would make the person to actually be looking forward to visiting the same place, to be excited about where I visited, and for me also to show that I am actually an English language student? I move on to the second one, which is argumentative essay. Argumentative essay is one of the most practical types of essay writing. Why did I say that? It is because argumentative essay has debate. Let's cast our mind back to our debating days in school, where we try to argue points and convince someone beyond reasonable doubt that our own view is actually the best. Because of the inclusion of debate, because of the example of a debate under argumentative essay, it is more practicalized. And for that, an argumentative essay is more realized on stage. You should have your audience, you should have co-debaters, you should have witnesses to whatever you're slugging out on, or whatever point you're dealing with. Argumentative essay is not complete until you back up whatever view, whatever fact you're pursuing with a lot of points and facts. Let us not forget that the whole essence of a debate is conviction beyond reasonable doubt. In this case, I say that an argumentative essay is a type of essay where you try to convince someone beyond a reasonable doubt that what you're talking about or your point is the most appropriate and should at that record time be acceptable. For example, let us look at a debate topic which says that bankers are better than farmers. I tell us that right now, as well as we hear this particular topic of argument, a lot of us would have started shaking, would have started moving, would have started smiling. Oh, how can bankers be better than farmers and all that? The next thing we'll have at the back of our mind is that farmers are the what? The ones that are actually in charge of the whole world. Without farmers, we won't have food. Without that, we won't have agriculture, etc. But let me tell you something. The secret of argumentative essay is not just what? The topic. But what? The points. The secret of argumentative essay, which is debate, is incomplete. It's actually, it boils down to the points. If you have a very lucrative topic, for instance, like farmers, supporting the farmers, for instance, yes, we know that they do everything that we need to be done. But if you are bereft of points, if you're bereft of examples, if you are bereft of things to use and cushion your topic and cushion a very lucrative point or topic like farming, then you would still see that at the end of the day, you will not be able to actually meet up to the standard of what argumentative essay should be. So it's not just the lucrative aspect of points, but you as a debater, what do you have to offer? It is about debate. It's about conviction. It's about points. And there must be sides. There must be sides. There must be supporters. There must be opposers. And at the end of the day, beyond reasonable doubt, there must be conviction, and that conviction will lead us to winning. And that is why at the end, sometimes when we watch on TVs and all that, we see winners going home with prizes. We see second position winners, consolation prizes for some other people. And then everything comes to an end. Let's quickly go to expository essay. Let us not forget what I said from the beginning, that every English question you come across, every English question you see, every English word that comes your way, the first thing you decide, you ask yourself is, what is the primary or dictionary meaning of this particular word? From that point, there is no how you will be far from the truth. There is no how you would be far from getting what it is all about. Based on that, we have expository essay. Expose, exposing, expository. From the word expose, you get what is what? Expository. Expose simply means to open up, to showcase, to unveil, to reveal. So when we have a topic that says expository essay, what are we trying to say here? Expository essay, in this regard, simply means an act of what? Explaining, exposing the details, the means, the ways of getting somewhere, of doing something, or of having something prepared. Expository essay is also another practical type of essay apart from argumentative essay. This is the essay that gives you an avenue to actually touch things as you're teaching them, you're touching them, you're picking things up, you're labeling their names, you're identifying their volumes, you're identifying their colors, the quantity involved, and all that. The mileage, the height, the weight, etc. It simply means to explain how to do something, how to go somewhere, how to what? Achieve or result or an end, simply put. By the time you're through, someone is likely to go home with something new. Every time you write an expository essay and you are not able to add something new, something meaningful to someone's life, I tell you, it is incomplete. Let's remember that our markers, our readers, are human beings. And a maker of an English language question, particularly essay, is assumed not to know anything. If you're telling a maker of how to do, for instance, how to repair a bicycle puncture, let me tell you a secret. Even if the person is a bicycle repairer, at that point of marking your script, the person is assumed not to know. So the whole essence is what? Tell your reader, tell your marker what you know, what you have in you, that he or she doesn't know or does not what have. It is at that point, it is from that angle that you will be able to score your points, score your marks, and then have a distinction or whatever credit level you desire. Now, back to expository essay. I used how to repair a bicycle puncture, for instance, because it is a type of expository essay. Another type of expository essay is how to cook a particular dish of your choice. It could be a locally made dish. It could be a dish from a particular part of the world, part of the country, part of the continent, a particular place that before now you were not able to do or to cook, or you don't even know about its existence. Number one point is that you would know the name of the dish or the meal. You would know the locality where they cook the food or the ethnic group. You would also know the ingredients that makes up. You have to talk about the ingredients. And then the method of preparation. When these 4 points are scored, there is no how at the end of the day you won't convince someone or you won't be able to teach someone how to cook a particular new dish that he or she has never heard about. Today, expository essay is all around us. But because we have to do it in a written form, we always find it difficult due to expression, stroke what? Words. And then paragraphing. When you tell an average student to tell you how she cooked her jollof rice yesterday night, she would be able to tell you everything about how to cook a jollof rice. But call the same student and tell the same student to put that in a written form. That's where the problem lies. Because there are rules, there are methods, there are hierarchy, there are steps to be followed when you're writing an essay for you to actually get what you're looking for or for you to actually get your mark. I had already talked about how to cook a very good meal, how to repair a bicycle puncture, how to mend a dress. Even as little as a button is, how to put a button in a dress is also a type of what? Expository essay. Another example of expository essay that over the time we usually ignore is how to get to a particular place, location. When someone walks up to you, for instance, along the road, a total stranger, probably coming to your environment or your street for the first time, and calls you and asks you, please, I am going to so and so place. How do I get there? Probably, let's say, a church or a cathedral or a market, which is a very popular place. I am not saying that we should go around the street and start talking to strangers and getting ourselves exposed due to insecurity and all that, but I am bringing the point of teaching you how to write expository essay. Why would you be able to tell someone how to get to the market? And how would you do that? That is what expository is. Well, you tell someone to move down the road, turn left, turn right, come back to the center, move, you end up confusing the person. So when you're doing expository essay, in as much as we have points here to remember in cooking, there are also some things to also hold on to when you are telling someone how to get to somewhere. If you're moving down the street, for instance, you turn the first right. At that right, when you go into the right, you should be able to look for something that is conspicuous, something that can be seen, something that can be touched. Probably a signboard, it could be a building, paint of a building, it could be a superstore, it could be anything that would make the person to know that, yes, this is the right way. By the time the person moves down right, at the end of the right, there would be a roundabout. At the roundabout, what do? You turn the roundabout, and then you move into the left. At the junction of the left, there is a traffic sign, or there is a police checkpoint. You have been able to score what and where. You scored the direction. You've scored a particular post, a signpost that tells the person, oh, I am at the right place. Oh, I'm not making a mistake. Oh, I'm going the right way. By the time you get to the signpost, stand at the signpost, look opposite, you see a 3-story building with green roof, with blue paint, and a red gate. At the red gate should be a sign, number 7. By the time you see this, that is the Cathedral of His Glory. At that point, you've been able to send the person not on a merry-go-round movement, but on a straightforward movement to his or her direction. So, in essence and in a nutshell, expository essay simply tells you or explains to you how to do something, how to get somewhere, and it teaches you new things that possibly before now you were not able to notice. They are practicals, they are around us. The next one, which is the last but not the least, actually, as I said from the beginning, is descriptive essay. Descriptive, describe. Describe yourself. Describe a scene of an accident you witnessed. Describe a scene of a football match between your school and another school. Description. While others are dealing with other forms, descriptive deals with statistics. Or you call it profiling, profile. Or you call it identity. That's how I started with descriptive, and it's helping me up until today. And every student I come across, I usually tell them about this point. When you're describing, for instance, what are the things that you're expected to do? Details. What are the makeups of something? What are the characteristics? What are the features? If I say that this is a dog, what differentiates a dog from a chicken? For instance, a dog, the first thing you notice when you bring the two at pair is that a dog as an animal has 4 legs, while a chicken is only using 2. A chicken is a feathered animal. A dog is a hairy animal. What is the distinctive measures between these two? That is what? Features, difference. When you're describing when you're told to write a descriptive essay, you are told to what? Go straight to whatever is the makeup of that particular thing. Without, I don't have much time to actually use a particular example that I story like a story that I tell my students in every classroom. If you are told to go to the international airport, for instance, arrival, you've not seen your uncle for the past 13 years, and your uncle has been living abroad, sending you things, sending you gifts on your birthdays, telling you a lot of things, and suddenly you're told 13 years after that your uncle is airborne. And you're one of the persons that would go to the airport to welcome your uncle. Probably you've never seen your uncle face-to-face, physically, but you might have been seeing his pictures. What and what would you be going there to look out for? Whatever you had seen in his pictures are what you're looking out for, features. Is your uncle fair in complexion? What's your uncle's height? Does he have a beard? What's his body size? He could even have called you before arrival to tell you that I am putting on a red jacket and a blue jean plus a boot or something and a knapsack. By the time you get to the airport, what do you look out for? Number one, you're looking out for someone putting on a red jacket or blue jean and a knapsack. Number two, you're looking out for a man that is fair in complexion. Remember the age of your uncle, age bracket of your uncle, and also his beard, and probably his height. If your uncle is 5 feet, if your uncle is 5 feet 6 inches, I don't expect you to look out for a 6-footer. When you see them that are very tall, like 6 and above, you probably say, oh no, this can't be my uncle. I know my uncle would soon come. Know also that your uncle is also looking forward to seeing you. So he also is also coming with some things that also fit into your birthday description. In that case, by the time you are able to locate your uncle through the statistics you have, through the information you have been able to what? Get the you make use of what? The description of your uncle. And that is what descriptive essay is all about. But because it's all English language, we're usually afraid, oh, narrative, argumentative, they've come again. There is nothing wrong with these words. There is nothing. They are simple as our everyday words, our everyday experiences, our everyday what? Topics of discussions. Descriptive essay simply means to describe. In order to tell someone, in order to show someone, in order to make someone to know what is happening or how something look like. When you're describing, you should have some properties in mind, apart from the examples I had given. Description is the only thing that differentiates a Caucasian from an African, an Indian from an American. There are some natural features that some people from some ethnic groups should have or usually have that others would not have. So when you're told, go to so and so place and look for someone from so and so state in Nigeria, sometimes you're looking out for some people with marks, you're looking out for some people with even when they have that tribal marks also differs. Some are very long, some are towards the ears, some are very short, some are the center of the faces, and other means and other ways of identifying where one comes from. So descriptive essay simply is an act of what? Describing. And on that note, I will come to a close on the types of essay.